talk to the leaders in customer channel and brand loyalty about the technology, the trends, best practices that impact a brand's ability to drive unique experiences, customize engagement, and most importantly, customer loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Rachel Iannarino, who's the Vice President of Marketing and Client Experience, and Tyler Baesman, who's the President of Baesman Marketing. Rachel and Tyler, how are both of you today?
Great. Good morning. Thanks for having us this morning.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the discussion. How are you, Rachel?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having us, like Tyler said.
Absolutely. So first off, for those who don't know Baesman, and gonna give us a brief overview of what you guys do at Baesman and how you do it.
Well, I can take that one. So Baesman's been around for 69 years. My grandfather actually started it. I work with my brother. We are co-owners now. We're the third generation, and I'm happy to report that the fourth generation just started about 4 months ago. So we're super proud of that. But our history really has been as a general commercial printer for about 30 years. And shortly thereafter, when my brother and I kind of took over and got in the business, we wanted to dedicate ourselves to an industry, and that was retail. So we took on direct mail. We got fulfillment going. We did substantial building on facilities for kit packing, kitting and assembly, we call it. And we dedicated our life to the retail industry. And then about 13 years ago, we started a division, which was the front end, which we call kind of the tip of the spear, which is the CRM and loyalty side, which supplements and complements our direct mail. So we work with high-end retailers to help them strategize data manipulation. We also have our own loyalty platform. So that's kind of our whole history in 90 seconds or less.
Okay, great. We also like to get to know a little bit more about your individual roles with the company and kind of your background as well. So Rachel, let's go ahead and start with you on that one.
Sure. Yeah, like you said, I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience at Baesman. So really just managing and overseeing anything that has to do with any of our marketing, our brand, and also the overall client experience. My background is kind of a little all over the place. I started in our governor's office in the communications department and kind of cut my teeth there, then moved on to pharmaceutical marketing, working with major brands like Eli Lilly and Takeda. Then I moved on to women's fashion. And most recently, I was in the commercial office interior environments. So got a little bit of an eclectic background, I think you could say. I'm really excited, though, to be with Baesman and to continue this journey with them, though.
Yeah, we are super excited to have Rachel on board, for sure.
All right, great. Another thing we like to do as well is get a fun fact, kind of a passion. We've had people that were born in the Philippines and put on the doorstep of the local monastery the next day, people who like extreme skiing, some gamers. Is there kind of a fun fact about you or maybe passion that you have, something you really enjoy doing? Rachel?
Well, I'm a fan. I don't actually do this, but I love boxing. And I don't think a lot of people know that about me. I love the sweet science of it. I have taken a couple classes, but it's more of, I prefer to watch it. And fun, interesting fact is I actually had the opportunity when I was working in some product placement for marketing to be on the movie set of The Fighter, the movie with Mark Wahlberg that really chronicles Mickey and Dickie Ward's journey. And while there, one of my favorite memories is I actually got to meet Sugar Ray Leonard, who is the nicest man, by the way, and even signed a boxing glove for me. So, yeah, I guess that's something a lot of people don't know about me, is I really love boxing.
All right, great. And Tyler, I think we've had some fun facts about you in the past. What's a fun fact with you? I know you're an avid hunter, correct?
Yeah, I'm a big bow hunter. In fact, I'm going down. This is the last weekend of turkey season. I don't hunt turkeys with a bow, but this weekend is the last weekend of turkey season. So yeah, I've got some land in Southern Ohio, and my family have enjoyed that, and they're all avid bow hunters except for my wife, who won't do any of that. So.
All right. Well, that's good that you enjoy that. Good time to get away. So one thing we love to do is get an understanding of how people define different kind of ideas in customer loyalty, and the most important one is, how do you define customer loyalty, Tyler? What does customer loyalty mean to you and to your organization?
Well, it's pretty basic. For me, I think it's measuring the strength of the relationship from the very beginning to the emotional attachment part. And the folks that are doing it the most successfully are making that time frame as condensed as humanly possible. And it's the loyalty part is very significant for my company because it's kind of like the tip of the spear, as I mentioned to you before. So we're kind of unusual in the fact that not only can we do the analytics and the 360-degree profile of the customer and the loyalty, we also do the SMS, the texting, the email, and mostly unusual is the fact that we can do all of the direct mail as well, and extreme personalization, which I hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about a little later. But
absolutely.
So it's kind of the tip of the spear that the loyalty part runs our entire organization from the front end to the back end.
Okay. Well, when you look at customer loyalty, what's the biggest challenge or opportunity you see coming through COVID potentially that marketers, that brands are having with regard to customer loyalty today?
From my point of view, I think most of the retailers struggle with the technology and the speed. When I walk into, well, some brands do this very well. Some of the larger brands do it well. Most do not. When I walk into a brand, I want them to know how many rewards points I have. I want them to offer that information to me, and I want that to be right at their disposal with information on the POS system that tells them all that. You need a platform, a loyalty platform that's serving all that information up, so you're getting that information in real time.
Absolutely.
I think most retailers struggle with that.
No, I think you're right. I think personalization in being able to have the right technology that can amalgamate the different data points, especially as data becomes more diverse, and also with the privacy regulations. But getting a technology stack, there's so many nomenclatures out there in the MarTech, data lakes, data repositories, CDMs. It's a very difficult decision and a choice. And I think brands don't necessarily always have the right team in place internally to do that, and finding that right solution, and especially an integrated solution like some of the things you guys have is very challenging, but it needs to be done in a manner that it benefits the brand, and that always doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think you need to move faster than your customers' expectations. And I think a lot of retailers and a lot of brands think if you're giving them what the customer wants, that's enough. It's not. You need to be ahead of that curve.
Absolutely.
Technology plays a key factor in that.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So Rachel, when you look, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just to expand upon a little bit of what you were saying too, Mark, is I think a lot of marketing departments are siloed to some extent, and it becomes hard to get your arms around all of that data and all the information and all the nomenclatures you were talking about. So, sometimes I think for us as marketers, we're already so busy. It can feel overwhelming to try to get that data in an understandable and readable format and just understand what we're trying to do and how we're trying to communicate. So I think another challenge is just marketing departments. How do we understand all of that data?
Absolutely right. So Rachel, when you look at the data, you look at the opportunity for personalization, as Tyler mentioned, being able to do that at scale, do that at speed, and being ahead, kind of truly understanding your customers. So the greater value placed on personalization now, how do you believe kind of being able to be more personal with consumers? Why is that so important for brands, for marketers these days?
I think the reality is that loyalty is all about personalization. It's from the point of acquiring them into your program or better communicating with existing members to even reactivating inactive members. So the more we can get personal with them, the more engagement we're going to have. And in fact, I've seen recent data that says brands that get personal are seeing a 50% uptick in their ROI just by using those personal messages. And really, that's because 3 out of 4 consumers are now telling us they'll only purchase from us if we're recommending products and based on their past purchase history and preferences. So we're seeing that need that customers, they don't just want that personalization, they're actually expecting it from us.
Okay. Yeah, Rachel did some research for me one time, and the Smarter HQ privacy report mentioned that, or said that in their survey, 72% of all people will not open anything that's not been personalized directly to them. So let's take that back and make it real. So you're sending out this is say 1 million direct mail pieces. So 720,000 of those direct mail pieces are not even getting opened if they're not personalized. So 280,000 actually are. Now you're judging your response rate on 280,000 as opposed to 1 million. And you don't even know that the 720,000 are just getting pitched in the trash can without even having them being opened. So that's a tremendous loss. I mean, retailers know how much postage cost is. I mean, let's just say 24 cents a piece plus the printing. You're talking about you're spending $300,000 and you're only getting responses on 25% or so. That was a very interesting fact.
Okay, interesting. So when you look at that, that we've heard a lot about this next generation direct mail as kind of a new digital channel way to kind of augment, email and SMS. I think you guys are seeing some new things in that regard, correct? With regard to some of the technology in direct mail that allows brands to be more personalized, to customize, to engage with them in a more kind of readily apparent time. Rachel, is that something you guys are seeing and doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the secret with all this personalization and the new technology is really knowing what our customers want and communicating that to them. But now with all the data that's available to us, it's not a secret anymore. We can just see, we can kind of anticipate their needs and their wants based on all of their clicks, all of their searches, all of the site visits. So we can use that information and apply it with this new technology and new direct mail, especially to build that super emotional connection. And that's where we're going to reach them. And that's where we're going to see more engagement.
Yeah, that emotional attachment is key. I'll tell you an example. My car is actually up for lease right now. I'm actually trying to figure out what I'm going to get. And I bought the same car 6 times in a row. And I do that because I've got a significant emotional attachment with this type of vehicle. I know how it's going to operate. I know the service level I'm going to get. I know the people that I'm going to buy it from. And the fact that I'm actually considering not buying that particular car again makes me scared. So we were talking about this earlier. I have an emotional attachment to this brand that I can't get rid of. I'm actually considering not leaving them.
Well, that's good though. So having that emotional connection and being able to, I think the challenge of brands understand what that emotional attachment means to them and measure that, which is very important. But it's definitely a very powerful tool for sure. So to kind of follow up a little bit, digital is more and more of a kind of a focus for brands. But, when they look to personalize their loyalty programs, because there's some, potential opportunities there. But is there some new technology that you see that aside email and SMS that can help brands, personalize their loyalty programs?
Yeah, that's my favorite question. Thanks for asking. There's a new piece of equipment out there, new technology called digital web printing. And for the first time ever, you now have the ability to print large quantity variable color at a similar or same price as you can with black and white. It's new technology. It's digital web printing. Technology has been around for about a decade. The problem before is the quality was never as good as what we could print on our litho presses. And also it couldn't print on a coated stock. Now it can. So in 2019, that technology has come up to speed where you can now have large volume, complete personalization that increases your speed to market. It's got inline finishing. It can potentially lower your postage because all your versions are now just one version, which increases the density of the mail, which lowers your postage savings, or lowers your postage cost. And then also at the same time, increases substantially your response rate. We talked about, if it's not personalized, 72% of the people are not even going to open that piece. Now you're able to do all those pieces at quantity in full-blown color. It's going to revolutionize the industry. And I think when we bought ours, which is on the floor now, I think there were only 5 installs in the country when we were shopping. I don't know how many there are now, but we're the only one in the state of Ohio.
Okay, great. What are you seeing at a kind of a high level, Tyler, with regard to brands that are using that? How are they using it? What are they seeing as kind of a, results or of their efforts? You talked about kind of the compressed timeline. You don't need the data that far out because the flexibility of the system enables kind of a more timely engagement. What are you seeing with regard to how that technology is used?
I'll tell you an example that actually happened to me. I mentioned, my lease is up on my car. So this brand sent me a letter that said, "Dear Tyler, your lease is up on this particular car, and this is the date it's up, and we want you to buy a new one, and this is the new payment. This is who you need to call for to get another one or whatever, and here's the name of the brand, and here's a place to get there." So that was just one black and white letter. What they could have done, and what you can do now, is say, "Dear Tyler, this is the brand. I want you to come to my store. Here's a map on how to get there, a variable map. Here's a picture of the car that you bought. Here's a picture of the new car that I want you to buy. And here's a picture of the sales rep you bought it from last time, and he still works there. And just call Mark Johnson, and he'll set you all up with the new purchase." That's so much more interesting. Right. I mean, I don't know what the new cars look like. I don't keep my fingers down on the pulse of the new models and what's coming out. I just know my lease is up. But if you were able to show me that information in full blown color,
right?
Wow, how much more interesting is that than just a black and white letter?
Absolutely.
And
definitely
now
more relevant.
It's the same or similar price to print them. That's the secret. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg to do that now.
And I think you mentioned too that if people aren't going to open kind of a customized piece, this becomes very, very customized, very, very relevant, and very germane to kind of their interests. Correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, Rachel, when you look at this individualized, very contextualized relationships brands have with consumers today, what are the next steps in enacting a successful strategy to get there?
I think it really starts with the data, looking at the data that you have and really understanding it, and finding a partner even that can help you understand the data, and then create a program that's right for you. Really analyze what you're doing, find out what's working and what's not, and then you can start to take it to the next level. Sometimes you'll hear us talk about this direct mail being the next wave of digital. It's really about looking at your current program. And you may be doing emails and text messaging programs, but this is a next level extension of that. So start looking at your data and looking to see, you may only have, I know the Association of National Advertisers says only 20 to 30% on average of email is open, whereas direct mail is 90%. So look at those people who aren't opening your emails, look at the low engagement there, and then you can follow up and extend on your program with this super hyper personalized direct mail program like Tyler's talking about. If you're reaching people with abandoned shopping cart recommendations in the mail and you're doing it in email, you're going to have a much higher chance of reaching your customer and engaging them and keeping that emotional connection going.
So we talked a little bit about customer loyalty, how it's definitely evolving, the increase in personalization efforts from marketers. They obviously want to increase the efficacy and the efficiency and do it in a cost effective manner. What are some thoughts you have, Tyler, about how marketers should get started? A couple of ideas that will enable them to, enhance their personalization and customer loyalty efforts.
Yeah, I think the first thing that marketers need to realize is that some of them need to know if they can even have a loyalty program, or they should have a loyalty program. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should, right? It determines how much data you have, the frequency of the purchases of your customers, the price point of your products, right? Nobody's going to have a loyalty program for paper clips unless you're buying bajillions of them, right? So, but assuming you've got all that and it makes sense, you need to compile all the data from all the silos inside your organization. I don't think marketers, sometimes they don't do a very good job of that. Everybody works independently. Econ does not know what the POS system is doing, so on and so forth. So compile all that data, get it in from all the silos, identify the who, what, when, where, and how. That's what I call it, which is really analyzing that data. And then once you've got all that analyzed, execute that strategy. But most importantly is choosing a partner or a vendor that can help in multiple areas. So for Baesman, we do all the analytics, the strategy, we have our own home-built loyalty platform. We can also do the email, SMS execution, as well as the extreme personalization with all the print for the direct mail. So you're able to leverage all that spend with one vendor, and you get all the tools, the people, and the equipment to help you along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys do a lot of good work. You have a number of great clients. I was just actually talking with one of your clients, Hibbets, the other day, and she was raving about some of the things you guys are doing. So it's great to hear what you guys do, and you have a lot of great clients who love what you do. So thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. It was very interesting to hear about the new print technology and how that can be used to augment and enhance customer loyalty efforts, especially at such a high open rate and engagement rate.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having us again. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you.
So Rachel and Tyler, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. It was great learning more about some of the programs and processes that you are putting forth with your brands. As we mentioned, the interest in personalization is growing. And I think the ability to have some of the unique services from the analytics and the personalization efforts that you see on the printing side are very germane and apropos for our audience right now. We look forward to learning more from Baesman later this year. And I want to thank everyone for listening, and join us again this Friday. Have a wonderful day.